Hello everyone, I'm Professor Albert Nygren. I'm the Executive Director and the Curator of the New Jersey Film Festival. Our film festival will be taking place in the spring of 2025 between January 24th and February 21st. And on that February 21st, we will be having a concert. Our ongoing mission to revitalize the New Brunswick music scene is now in its second year, and we were really excited to have Renee Maskin do a concert for us, an audio-visual concert on February 21st, which is our closing date. It will be taking place at 7 p.m. in our state-of-the-art facility, which is Voorhees Hall, room 105, on the Rutgers University campus at 71 Hamilton Street in New Brunswick, New Jersey. I'm so excited that you're here.
Yeah, I'm excited to be here.
So, you know, this whole idea of mine was to kind of rekindle a music scene that was really bubbling in the 80s and 90s.
Yeah.
And then for whatever reason, it just kind of came crashing to a halt with the Court Tavern shutting down and so many other things. And I thought, well, it'd be really great to bring some of these artists that I really love that are not too far away, and maybe they'll do a concert and we'll do some visuals with it. So I had Tim Motzer come. He's based in Philadelphia. He's kind of progressive jazz, virtuoso on the guitar. So he did a solo concert in September of 2023. And then we had one of my favorite artists, Marissa Nadler, come last June, and she did her own visuals in the background. And then just this past October, we had a fellow come from California, actually, and he did a noise concert to visuals. So I was scratching I really want to keep this going. And then I saw on Facebook this post by my former student and good friend and filmmaker, John Decker, and he said, you know, I'm celebrating my 3-year anniversary, and I said, Renee Maskin, I've heard that name before because we're partners with New Jersey Stage. And Gary Wine, who is the, the publisher and editor, he signaled you out as the songwriter of 2023. This huge light bulb went over my head. And I said, we've got to bring Renee. So I quickly called up John. I said, John, do you think Renee would be interested in doing a show? Yeah. And she said, I'm sure she would. So here you are.
I am,
So we're so excited.
Well, and the mission of getting music back into New Brunswick sort of resonates with me too. I used to play at the Court Tavern all the time. I used to play in the basements, around Rutgers College, and noise shows, all kinds of shows. I used to play with Screaming Females back before they blew up. My folks met at the Melody, so it's a kind of a shame that these things aren't around anymore, but hopefully in time they'll come back.
Yeah, I'd like our audience to know the kind of music you make, and I know that you've been pumping out album after album, these solo albums, but you're also in a band too. Well,
yeah, on and off. Mostly these days I'm solo. I was in a band. I've been in several bands. I was in a progressive rock band for my youth, and then got into more of like an indie alt country band. And since the pandemic, I've been mostly solo. Did one record with some New Brunswick folks, Mike Nordsey and Ben Ross, and just keeping busy,
Well, you also work at PBS, so I wonder, how do you juggle all these things? I mean,
it's hard. I mean, I say that to everyone. People are like, how do you have a day job and play all these songs and tour around and make all these records? And the answer is it's hard. But I think it's kind of what separates the people with the real artistic drive from the people who kind of like it as a nice hobby. I wake up every day and I write. And I've got that Nick Cave, you sit at the desk and you do the work. And, you just try to find a way to balance it all.
Yeah, well, your music is so lovely. And I mean, you can tell that it's made with a lot of heart and soul. And I think you can tell a true artist who's not just trying to do it for the money.
Right.
You have something to say. And I think a lot of your songs resonate with me because they deal with day-to-day issues as well as, love and hardship. So what is our audience going to hear when you come to play? Do you know? I mean, 3 months out, since we're taping this in November.
It could change, but I've been working on a record that should be out this March. I keep calling it a horror theme record, but it isn't really. My dips into horror is like Vincent Price. I'm not really into real dark things, but it's an easy metaphor in these very kind of weird, tumultuous years that we've been living in to sort of tap into the unknown and things like that. So that sort of, I will probably play things off of that record.
But you're also a film person, right? I mean, you're working with John on a documentary. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, well, John Decker, as you know, is immensely talented, and he's been working on a documentary on a monastery that's on the Hudson Valley.
Wow.
And it's a slow cinema, very beautiful in the way that John crafts the shots and everything. And I'm helping him with audio because I've got experience with that sort of thing, and it's very.
And it's a way for you guys to hang out together too.
Yeah, and work together. We try to keep it a symbiotic relationship. He helps me with my videos and offers what he can to me artistically, and then vice versa. I do what I can to help him.
That's wonderful. I mean, my wife is my main inspirer, and she vetoes things and vice versa.
Yeah.
So I know what that's like, and I
Yeah.
really appreciate that. But you also opened for big name acts like the Pretenders. What was
Yeah.
that like?
Oh, it was incredible, like a dream. Although it's funny, you talk to some of the younger people, they don't even know who the Pretenders are. That's the world that we're living in. But that was a dream come true, and that kind of came by accident. I was playing in a band called Low Light, and we were really hot and playing a lot of gigs. And someone told me that I reminded them a little of Chrissy Hine with my foul mouth and my attitude and things like that. And would we open for them? And they let us. And then the next thing you knew, they invited us back to open for them in New York, and then we did a tour with them. So you can't make it up. It's sort of one of those Hollywood stories, and they were very cool to us, the whole crew, and it was just kind of a dream come true,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you started as a musician or as an artist?
Well, in my very early days as an artist, and I went to Ramapo College, sort of so I could dip my toe in everything. I sort of thought about Mason Groves and thought, well, my parents are pushing business classes, so maybe I'll go somewhere else. And I started off. I got a visual art degree, but I've found over the years that music's more of my medium. I obsess less about is this good, when you make a painting, it's over. You paint the painting, you hang it up or you throw it away, and a song, you record it, but you can record it again. You could play it live every night if you want to, and I think that extra life that songs have appeals to me in my creative way, Yeah.
Well, I can tell from the music videos that there's a lot of art and craft that goes into the visual side of your music too, so it's really wonderful.
Well, it helps that John's around. I mean, John, as you know, is just so talented and thoughtful, has a very strong sense of his own, but also thinks about what the song is doing, and it's a good creative team.
It was just so wonderful that all kind of came together, and I've been poo-pooing social media, but if it wasn't for Facebook, this never would have happened.
I know. It's funny how those things, sometimes they're terrible, but sometimes they do connect people who otherwise wouldn't have connected, so it's great.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Well, folks, you absolutely have to come to this concert, which will be taking place on February 21st at 7 p.m. in Voorhees Hall on Rutgers campus. Admission is only $15. It should be a lot of fun. There'll be visuals, and there'll be a lot of entertainment. I think there'll be food that night too, so it should be a lot of fun.
There you go. Who wouldn't come?
Yeah, for sure. Thanks so much for hanging out with us.
Thanks for having me, Al.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Everything dies, baby, that's